But anyway, we still got a lot of work to do, but we're closer than we've ever been to even going maybe back to Africa. So if we can get back to Africa, man, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, it would be really great. I mean, we're getting pretty close, and we just got a little bit more to go. So that's why I'm doing it. That's what I'm hoping that we can achieve, and I'm trying to enlist everybody's help and support in doing that. Because it's not one thing that one person does. It's something that we all need to do, and it's something we all need to be proud of. So having said that, because of Little Pat, or Pat Jr., whatever he's called himself, Little Pat, we were able to trace our roots back to the Oral Oaks Plantation in Lunenburg County, Virginia. And it just so happens that it's listed in this book, the testimony of one of our ancestors. And that person is Charlie Crawley. Charlie Crawley, in this book, detailed what it was like to be a slave. And from that, we were able to do a lot of things. We found out, if you look at this first page, this is as far as we got back, the one that says Armistead Crawley and Sarah Allen. If you look at that, and the reason it's like that is because that's, the format is Ancestry.com, and we could leave a lot of that stuff out and put it in a better way. But we just haven't had time to do all of that yet. Okay, but Armistead Crawley married Sarah Allen on the Oral Oaks Plantation in Lunenburg County. The exact year, we don't know. Now, a lot of y'all have never heard of Sarah Allen, but Sarah Allen is who granddaddy used to call Grandma Goody. Grandma Goody. That's what he used to call. Granddaddy used to call her Grandma Goody. That was his grandmother. And she was a slave. Okay? Now she married this guy named Armistead Crawley. And Armistead Crawley, we can't find anything else about him. Now there's some suspicions about who he is and what he was. We have some thoughts about who he was. But they were on the Allen plantation. Robert Allen. Robert Allen was a colonel, but he also was an administrator in the courts, a solicitor in the courts. So he was a lawyer. The Robert Allen family owned Armistead Crawley and Sarah Allen. Now, Robert Allen, who's the white man, who was the owner, had in fact a few slaves. He didn't have a whole heck of a lot of slaves, but he was known to be a good master in the community. He worked with the slaves and everything. And he was even appointed to the Freedmen's Bureau. Anybody ever heard of the Freedmen's Bureau? Okay, the Freedmen's Bureau was a bureau that they set up after the Civil War to help slaves to transition into freedom. Because remember that these people were owned by somebody else, and they didn't have any idea how to exist in the free enterprise system, or just exist, period. All they knew was slavery, someone taking care of them, and all of a sudden they were free. And once you're free like that, you need some assistance and help. So the government, after the Civil War, set up what's known as the Freedmen's Bureau. And what they did was these guys kind of acted as guardians, and they protected the slaves. Even before then, Robert Allen was known to be a person who did not hate slaves and treated his slaves well. It's documented in this book where Robert Allen is thought of by and talked about by Charlie Crawley. Charlie Crawley was the child of Armistead Crawley and Sarah Allen. And if you look at that second page there, you'll see something that says Douglas Washington and Sarah Crawley. Sarah Crawley and Charlotte Crawley were brothers and sisters. Everybody clear about that? Sarah Crawley, and her maiden name is Allen. She married this guy. Now again, we're Goody. We're talking. Now this is one of the confusing parts about all of it. There are two Sarahs.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, there are two Sarahs. Okay, I need to make that clear. Sarah Allen right, married Armistead Crawley, but she married and she named her daughter Sarah as well. So that's probably one of the most confusing parts of it, that she actually named her daughter Sarah. Okay? So now, Sir Crawley and Sir Allen are two different people. Grandma Washington's name was Sarah Crawley before she married Douglas Washington. Douglas Washington is the person that we hit a snag on, because we thought that Douglas Washington, the last time I did this, we thought Douglas Washington was the last slave that we knew of. And we tried to find out who he was and what he was about, and we couldn't find anything on Douglas Washington. But on the other hand, his wife, Sarah Crawley, who became Sarah Washington, who we know as Grandma Washington, right? We all heard about Grandma Washington. Grandma Washington married Douglas Washington. Now, Douglas is the one we don't know a lot about. I did find out just today that he has his father's name, and I'll tell you that. And he was from Greenville County, Virginia somewhere. But we had done some research on him, and you can't find a lot. Because the key to doing research on people, they got to be property owners. If they're property owners, guess what? A lot of things are detailed because they're property owners. So let's go back to Sarah Crawley and Armistead Crawley. We couldn't find a thing about Armistead Crawley. And the reason I think we can't find a thing about Armistead Crawley is because I believe Armistead Crawley was the guy who, hey, welcome you guys. Welcome. Good to see you. How you doing? Great. I believe Armistead Crawley was, in fact, property of Robert Allen's sister. Robert Allen, remember the guy I was telling you, he was appointed to the Freedmen's Bureau. He was the master, okay, the white man, the Colonel Robert Allen. His sister married a guy named Crawley. And his sister lived down deep in the South, somewhere in Mississippi, Alabama, or somewhere like that.
You said Robert Allen's sister married a Crawley?
A guy named Crawley. That's exactly right. Robert Allen's sister, this is the white woman, is in fact married to a guy named Crawley. Now, this Crawley spelled his name like the French pronunciation, C-R-A-I-L-L-E. That's the French pronunciation of Crawley. So there is a possibility that Armistead Crawley was one of their slaves.
How you doing, man?
Now, so if that is in fact the case, now imagine this. Robert Allen has his plantation up here in Virginia. His sister has a plantation down in I think it was Mississippi somewhere. She sends a slave up to Virginia to help them out. They get married. That's how she got that Crawley name. Now, that's our suspicion. We can't prove that at this point. But we know that we can't find him anywhere, right? We can't find anything about him. Now, if you go to Lunenburg County and you go to Cambridge specifically, they have all kinds of Crawleys there. Black Crawleys. All kinds in Lunenburg County. In fact, one of them even holds a patent. Okay? He holds a patent for inventing an ice cream scoop. The ice cream scoop that we know of, he invented it. This Crawley from Lunenburg County. And you know what was so unique about the ice cream scoop is, you know how you stick the ice cream down, the scoop down there, and then you have the little ratchet on the side that releases it? That could have been one of your relatives' invention.
Wow.
How about that? Plenty money. Plenty sense.
How about that?
So we don't know that for certain, because we don't know for certain that he is one of our Crawleys. And because we can't detail or, really know exactly what happened to Armistead Crawley. All we know is that Armistead Crawley was married to her, and she left that plantation. And somehow she left him there. He never came to Petersburg. Grandma Goody was Goody. She was married 3 times.
Oh, Lord.
Now, we have our suspicions about, I have my suspicions about Grandma Goody. I can't say for certain, but it seems to me that she may have been a mulatto.
What?
Half white, half.
Yeah.
She mixed. Mixed.
She may very well have been a mulatto. It's possible that she was. Because remember now, if the people that know Grandma Washington knew that she had all this beautiful, beautiful hair.
Yeah,
Grandma Washington had beautiful, beautiful hair, so they said. That's what I can remember my mother talking about all the time. Grandma Washington's hair, and how she was so upset that she didn't have hair like Grandma Washington. Yeah, Margie can verify that, but I think you're about the only one that's old enough to verify, huh?
I was 12 years old with Grandma Washington.
You were 12 years old when she died. Okay, and you remember what her hair was like?
Yeah, it was silver.
Yeah.
So,
So,
it was great.
You talking about Sarah Crawley, right now?
Sarah Crawley Washington.
Sarah Crawley Washington.
Okay, Sarah Crawley, Washington. That's
Right.
what you're talking about,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's Grandma Washington.
Okay, and Armstead Crawley and
Sarah
Sarah
Crawley.
Allen had a child, a daughter. Her name is Sarah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's your Grandma Washington.
Okay, and she's the one who was married 3 times.
Oh, well, no.
They have been married.
No, Sarah Allen was the one married 3 times.
Okay.
Sarah Allen is the one that left the plantation,
She left Crawley.
and she left Crawley there, at the plantation. Now, we don't know whether he died or what happened to him. We still got research to do.
So that's a possibility. Them Crawleys, some of them could be our family.
Oh, that's exactly right. Now, I suspect that that's true.
If she left him there.
Yeah.
Crawley left her on the capstan.
Yeah, and they're related to them. Right, they're related to them. Those Crawleys that on the cab stand, there used to be a lot, some of you guys are too young to remember, but there used to be a Crawley's cab in Virginia,
That's
in
right.
Petersburg,
That's right.
and on South Avenue, and they may be related to you. Okay, so what happened then? So she leaves there, and she takes her 2 kids with her. Her 2 kids, the first kid is Sarah and Charles Crawley. Now Margie remembers Charles Crawley.
Uncle Charlie.
You remember Uncle Charlie? Do you remember him?
They
Yeah, okay.
Armstead.
Okay. Now, it's because of Charlie Crawley, as I said, that we know all of this stuff. Because there was a woman back in with the WPA. Anybody familiar with the WPA? You remember what that was about? Okay. Yeah. Right after, everybody's familiar with the Great Depression, right? You remember how hard it was, right? Well, what happened was the government then decided we're going to help people out, and we're going to particularly help people out who are in the arts. Because, you know, when there's a Great Depression, what happens is that people who are in the arts, they suffer the most. Who's going to go out and spend $400, $500 on a painting when you can hardly feed yourself? So because of that, the government developed this program, and it was called the WPA, the Works Project Administration. And what they did was they put a lot of artisans, people who know how to paint and write and that stuff, to work. And they put them on the government payroll.